Hello, everyone. It's 11:31 p.m. Um, after the video from this morning, I did fall asleep, but I don't remember if it was between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. But I think I woke up at 4:30, but I kept having to use the bathroom. But my sleep was spotty and I felt a little bit of the vertigo. But after I ate dinner, um, I felt back to normal and forgot I was even suffering the vertigo. I almost felt like, well, I might need to have to take, drink some more of the healing gravy. I still got some more of the healing gravy left in the freezer. So I didn't step outside tonight, but I had to kill a few insects in here. So I worked a tiny bit, a little bit, on my mental health ebook, like with the resources and website links and everything, and the boil that's underneath my arm, it it popped a little bit today, but I couldn't get all of it. It felt so sensitive and painful. But it looked like they still have some more pus in there. So so late last night and early this morning, I got a little bit of online harassment, a little bit. But early, I don't know if I mentioned it, but earlier this morning, they were harassing me really bad with the noise, and I told y'all about the video that the video that the gang stalkers made disappear as soon as I turned it off. So I think it was about an hour and 15 minutes ago, I did a TikTok video and then put it on YouTube, talking about how June 22nd, 2012 was the day I accepted Jesus into my heart and started to feel like I believe in Jesus Christ and I'm a Christian. But it took me 6 months with feeling, in order to feel comfortable with saying Jesus Christ without feeling bad because of the fake cult that I was in, So that video on TikTok, it said that it couldn't upload the video. And so then it forced me to have to re-upload it again, and it erased all my hashtags. So I guess the phone feels like acting funny right now. So yeah. So I think they sell hot dogs at the 7-Eleven, but I could always make my own at home. But for some reason, I'm getting a little dandruff off the phone. But for some reason, what was I saying? Oh, for some reason I have been craving and I try not to. I mean, I be trying to stay away from, hot dogs and processed meat as much as possible. But when I was homeless on the streets and they might have sausage for breakfast, well, but but I don't know why I've been craving hot dogs, pizza, pancakes, waffles, donuts. But well, I haven't really been craving hamburgers or cheeseburgers lately, but I haven't been craving those that much, but I usually love I usually love burgers, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, really. I usually love cheeseburgers. And I'm looking at my hair because it look like my curls are big and loose. And it look like as if I'm starting to get the silk back to my hair. Like my hair is starting to look back to normal. That's why I'm looking at it. But wow, I got huge loose curls. You can't tell me I ain't Creole. But so it's like it's like I know people say that the crock pot meals that they're quick and come in handy. But not if you got beans to soak overnight and you got some meat that you got to thaw out. And then if you don't have anything else prepared, yeah. But I know the crock pot would be good and come in handy for numerous reasons, for the winter, and it'd be cold. And you can always have something nice and warm, some nice warm soup. Or even if you just want to make tea. I don't know if it's possible. I guess you can. Or keep boiling water, with the crock pot or something. Keep hot water with the crock pot to warm your body up when it's too cold or something like that. But so yeah, crock pot would be good and come in handy for those soups and stews or whatever for the winter. But so I guess I'll have like tomorrow I'll have I'm feeling like I'm sick and tired of grits and farina. But I mean, like the first 2 months that I was here, I didn't have any grits at all, and felt like, well, I can't wait to have some grits again. So, I haven't had milk really. Maybe at the deep beginning of the month, but I haven't had much milk really or eggs. After buying those groceries, I didn't have milk or eggs. So I've been, surviving without milk and eggs. But I feel like, well, I miss cereal and can't wait to have some cereal again. Or I miss pancakes, waffles, French toast. You know, so, but I mean, it's like I've been craving those kinds of foods. But but it's like, yeah. So that I don't remember if I said it, and I apologize if I'm saying it again. When I had the Eckrich sausage, the first time, it was like um, sausage without the casing or whatever. And I put it in the microwave and it got scorched and burned and I thought it was nasty. But then I put water in it and it tasted so much better. Like it tastes like a luxury or a high quality hot dog. It tastes like a luxury or a high quality hot dog wiener, you know. But I feel like if I just had all this sausage, then it would be retarded. Maybe for me to go right and have some, like buy some hot dogs or whatever, you know. But I don't know. I have dried lima beans and dried black eyed peas. And I figure that maybe I'll wait till next month to have those, you know. And so the pasta dish, I had the last of it today because I had the last of the pasta dish today because I would have had another one tomorrow, but I accidentally wasted on the floor and had to throw it away yesterday. So, and I also I wanted to do something really special with the turkey cutlets, but I'm feeling like I don't know what to do with them because I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the veal or the turkey cutlets with the pasta dish. And the pasta dish didn't come out the way I really wanted it to. But I can always do it again or try it again better, you know. But it's like, yeah, I'm sitting here craving what ain't good for me. And then ever since while I was eating breakfast this morning, my stomach started to bloat up. And I've been feeling bloated and farting not all day, but, you know, like I've been feeling kind of bloated, but, not, you know, with a lot of gas. So, so I feel like, well, you know, but yeah, I'm thinking about maybe saving the I'm thinking about saving the dried black eyed peas and the lima beans for next month, and I don't know if I might save the turkey cutlets for next month also. If I might save them for, you know, for next month. And then yeah, because I feel like, you know, I wanted to do it like with some vegetables to season, you know, like celery, onion, bell pepper, and all that, you know, rather than just having the beans to be bland and plain and boring and whatever. But I mean, it's like, so I don't know. As I said, I want to take a temporary break from grits and farina. And I don't care if it's granola cereal or other cereal. I might want some cereal or something. But, you know, I miss cooking the traditional way, but the crock pot it has benefits also. I can't go to the real grocery store like I want to, because tomorrow's Friday, and you know, I'm not waiting till next week. So But I think it's the week after next when I'm supposed to get the SSI. I mean, I'm sorry, both of them. But the SSI, I still never got that money this month, and I still never got the SSI check this month, and I don't know if I'll get it next month. With them talking about I'm only gonna get $2.50 when I'm supposed to get the whole $24. They're the ones who have everything messed up on their end. But I wish the foster mom would have never put me on Social Security and stuff anyway, because I heard that's their part of the trafficking in their greed. With them being full of greed, and so now you got me against my consent in the first place, being a slave to Social Security and stuff. But you got me being a slave to Social Security, even though I'm disabled. But as I said, I always wanted to be independent. So I started to work on a short story earlier, but I didn't work on it. But I accomplished listening to first 3 chapters of 2 Corinthians in the Bible. So since tomorrow's like one of the anniversary of the day of being raped, I'm sitting here trying to feel like, how am I going to try to stay strong and hold it together, even though it happened 11 years ago, and also 12 years ago, because 2 different guys, almost exactly a year apart, and then after that, there's a third guy that nearly succeeded a month after that, and then, and I didn't realize it was part of the gang stalking and trafficking. But it's like I don't even go looking for people. I don't be looking for friends anymore. I don't look for men. I don't look for nobody. I just try to stay to myself. I don't go nowhere, really. Can't go nowhere. And I mean, especially living here, can't really go nowhere. So but I guess I should try to just keep myself busy, to try to keep myself focused, or take my mind off of, that happening, and people, I mean, it was very traumatic. As I said, if you're sitting there trying to claw somebody's face, that doesn't sound like you wanted it or that you liked it. And then with that Freemason guy, his thing was small, and he had like a curved, deformed looking, his thing. And I never before, I mean, I dealt with bigger whats than that. But I mean, I was limping for 4 days, and it felt like as if I was having like spasms. I was having spasms, or like throbbing, painful spasms or whatever down there. So that doesn't sound like something that you would have, that I would have enjoyed. And as I said, I don't find myself to be attracted to men old enough, or almost old enough to be my dad, or even old enough to be my dad, or even older. And now I'm 39, I don't even like to be attracted to somebody that's like in their 20s. I was always taught by that fake foster mom that I should only deal with men who I have something in common with, or that's, close to my age or my age, but I was reading the so-called independent fundamental Baptists. They were saying that the ideal thing for Christian courting, like with courtship and marriage, that that you should marry a man, or it's ideal for you to marry a man no more than 6 years older than you, or maybe 2 years younger than you. But you know but I don't know where in the Bible where it said that you should be with somebody excuse me, that's you know so many years. I mean, if there's any age guidelines in the Bible, as long as y'all two consenting adults. I don't know. I mean, I haven't read anything. So that's man-made pharisaical rules or whatever. But still, ideally, I would personally prefer people that's close to my age. And how I've been feeling about people younger than me. Excuse me. I would want, if there was another man to come into my life, I would want somebody excuse me. I would want somebody that's my age, or maybe like no more than 5 years older than me, but not younger than me. I don't care if it's 3 days younger than me. Nah, I don't want to be with somebody that's younger than me. And then he got headship or rulership over me. That's just awkward to me. So I would rather be with somebody that's about my age, or maybe a little bit older. And then somebody who's Christian and can help me grow as a better Christian. And somebody who's not a gang stalker and not a narcissistic abuser. And somebody who's going to truly love me and respect me. Because I feel like if there was a man to come into my life and act like he loved me, I would sit there and just, feel bad and feel like I don't deserve this, or this is too good to be true, or I'm not worthy. Because that's the way I've been manipulated or made to feel all my life, that I'm ugly, or that I'm considered undesirable, or that I never even got to have the chance to have the experience to like I always wanted to be a wife and a mother. But 39 years old, still nothing. And all my life passed me by. Still no kids running around, no husband. And if I did, there might have been a useless, worthless baby daddy that probably would have been an abusive, narcissistic perp that would do parental alienation. Or, turn my kids against me and manipulate my kids to think, that I'm crazy. Because I know I would have had hell with the ex-boyfriend, Alex Mendez. And he was younger than me. Like, I think Alex was 4 years younger than me, if I remember correctly. But he was 19 and I was 23, just graduated. I just graduated from college, went to New York, and then had other guys which I would have made the decision to be with. But I don't even know what would have been the turnout because I didn't even realize Alex was a perp. And then come into my life last year, years later, trying to butter me up and juice my head up, and he was still manipulative, controlling, objectifying, and I'm like, motherfucker, you still haven't grown up. Extremely perverted, and you don't talk to a wife. If you planned on marrying me, you talk to me like, you try to talk dirty like as if I'm a hoe. You didn't talk to me respectful. Because at first, and I was going to give them a chance, but they had a certain thing. Give them another chance, but they had certain things that I questioned, some red flags or whatever. So, so it's like, yeah, Alex came back into my life after so many years. And how did he get my phone number? The gang Stalking Network gave him, the biological brother Wyatt, and I think Janet had already had my number. All three of them try to come back, into my life. And Wyatt tried to play it off and lie and say that that he found my number in his phone and that he didn't know what it was. But no, the gang, because all three of them came around the same time. And then Wyatt started to do perp shit and, say perp stuff and, kept on saying stuff to trigger. I'm like, and then he pretended like he was targeted too. Now, Wyatt is a fucking perp. The biological brother Wyatt. He's a fucking perp. That old dirty bitch. That's why I call him Dirty Wanda. So, so it's like the biological brother Derek. I call him Dirty Derrica because you're disrespectful and abusive enough that you put your hands on women. You're my own biological brother. Now, how do I have at least two brothers who will be a woman beater? Pete and Derek, they both physically abuse and beat on women. So, So yeah, my family, they strange because how you talk all day about how you can't stand negativity and then you bully, harass, and pick fights for nothing. Unprovoked. Pete was a perp. And I didn't realize he was trying to manipulate and, he lured me over to Lake Charles where he was at and excuse me, and he lured me over there, and then like that's the biological brother Pete, the oldest one. And then he talked all fake nice and made it like he missed me and stuff because the whole time in foster care Pete had been locked up in prison all these years. The first time I ever met Pete in my life that I remember, well, I'm not counting maybe if he was around when we were babies because I don't remember that. But I don't remember. I don't know, but Belinda was around when we were babies before we got taken away. So Pete, he excuse me, so Pete had been locked up for so many years in prison, and so with him being locked up for so long, the first time I met Pete in person was in 2010 for Labor Day when I went down to my hometown, New Orleans. And then almost 6 years later, I lived with Pete, transitioning from homelessness in Greenville, South Carolina. I stayed with Pete for a couple of weeks, and it was unbearable. I didn't realize Pete was a perp. They probably told Pete, well, if you gang stalk your sister Candy, we'll lighten your prison sentence. This motherfucker got out of prison and living better than me. Pete has a house and a truck, and he had more than at least 3 vehicles or something. At least 2 or 3 vehicles. And he played all kinds of psychological games. He made me feel unsafe. He sexually touched me, violated me, while I was half asleep. He didn't rape me or nothing, but what you doing touching your own sister on her ass while she's asleep and you half drunk? And, and it wasn't until after he walked out, because I was half asleep. He woke me up out of my sleep. And it's like, what was all that about? And then he was just weird. The family is weird, because Ramona, would call herself trying to touch on me or make sexual comments about my legs and just make me feel awkward. I'm glad I ain't around them no more. And then they want you, they treat you like they think they're better than you, and they're extremely jealous, but they try to act like they think they're too good. They act like they think they're too good. So the family ain't got to worry about me no more. So my twin sister, she was not there, and she lied and said that I wanted Pete to touch me. I didn't know because he woke me up out of my sleep and touching me all on my ass, my own brother, and then walked out of the door so fast, and it just took a while for that to process in my head. And then he was doing weird stuff like leaving lots of turds in the toilet, and don't flush the toilet. And does this guy shit and don't wipe himself and then leave? Like, come on. He did that numerous times. And then he would be gone all day. And he would leave me trapped in the house, really with nowhere to go, no house key. Manipulated and made all these false promises. And then he would leave at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and then come back at 11 o'clock. He was alcoholic, and he would come back, like leave and do construction job, and then come back and tell me everything I did in the house that day. And I'm sitting here wondering, and Mark used to do the same thing. Be gone for a couple of weeks to go by his gay lover's house and spend a couple of weeks by them, and then come back and then tell me everything I did. Or Mark would be calling a biological mom, Frances, and tell her what I ate for breakfast. It's like, how do you know exactly what I ate for breakfast and you weren't even in the house with me? Do you have surveillance cameras to monitor and watch everything? And then when I would tell people who's supposed to be targeted, they would act like they didn't believe me. I would be in Los Angeles. My twin sister would be in Mississippi. And she would tell me what I did all day. So, and so if Pete, went around lying to people and said I was nasty and didn't shower, Mark made up the same lies, Ramona made the same lies up, But if Mark wanted to call me so nasty, he's supposed to be gay with AIDS. But why, if I'm so nasty and dirty, why did I catch you in the act of using my toothbrush one day that I've used, and you used my toothbrush, and then the very next day you use my razors that I've used for my personal areas, and then you play it off like you thought it was yours. I'm like, come on, Mark, that's a whole damn pink toothbrush. You know damn well your toothbrush ain't pink. Mark would do stuff like steal money from me in front of my face and dare me to stand up or say anything. So so it's like, it's embarrassing and humiliating. And then at Pete's house, he lived in I think it was, I don't remember if it was it was a house. So Pete had to have sold his soul. They try to say that Pete was gonna come out of prison with $250,000 or $250,000. That's what the biological mom Frances was saying. And so Pete was making false. I talked on the phone with him at the end of 2001 for the first time when I went by the biological family's house. And, but when it was 2016, it was June, and Pete sent for me to come to Lake Charles, Louisiana from Greenville, South Carolina, until my Section 8 pulled through, and I got my Section 8 place there. And so that Natasha lady at Stratham Place Apartments, she was so crooked, and she deceived and lied and played games and kept more than half my deposit, and I had to cuss her out and tell her off, and she didn't care how I suffered. But that's the only person in my life that I ever lectured. But other than that, I don't lecture nobody. I never lecture people. But that was the only time in my life. If it took for me to have to do that to try to get my money back, and she lied on me and she stole my money. So Pete, so imagine this. I had one conversation with Pete while he was still locked up. It was the end of 2001. And then, he got out of prison sometime in 2009, right before Michael Jackson died. And the biological brother, Sean was living with Pete. And I didn't realize Pete was manipulating and brainwashing and fucking over Sean really bad and setting him up and making a fool out of him, ruining Sean's life. So the family members that do Sean wrong are the ones who Sean is scared of, and he kisses their ass. But Sean has such hate and hostility towards me because they put stuff in his head and brainwash him. I don't even know if they turned Sean into a perp. Because Sean was definitely heavily fucking targeted. One of the hated ones in the family. So it's like so much jealousy, and you can't get the family to love you or make them be nice to you. So I talked to Pete on the phone after he got out of prison, like a couple of times, maybe a few times in 2009, and he was brainwashing and manipulating Sean. And Pete would always lecture, talking about how people shouldn't be negative and all that. But motherfucker, you a whole damn criminal. So Pete was a perp, and bullying, harassing, and lecturing me, stealing my money, scamming me, taking advantage of me. made false promises. He was just downright fucking dirty. And then Mark tried to ignorantly laugh and say that Pete was a Judas. But you ain't no better. Mark, you just as evil. So Pete would physically abuse and beat on, his girlfriend Willie Mae. And Derek had girlfriends he would physically abuse and beat on. Like the foster brother Joe would physically abuse and beat on foster kids and women. So the foster brother-in-law Brian, he choked the foster boy Richard. And he told the foster boy Richard, "You gonna be somebody that's punk and somebody that's pretty boy in jail." Saying that he's gonna wind up being somebody's punk and somebody's pretty boy in jail. Yeah, he said that to Richard, like he did all that to Richard in front of my face. And I think I don't remember, I think that they choked him or the foster sister Shelley. One of them, I think, choked the foster boy Nick, but I don't remember. But I'm not quite sure about that. But definitely, they choked the foster boy Richard. But my twin sister said that the fake foster mom, Ann, Adrian Felder, that she choked the foster boy Cody. And that she choked a foster white boy named Ryan. The foster mom choked him too, and Cody was white. The foster mom choked them too, because the foster mom has a biological grandson named Ryan, and then she had a foster boy named Ryan also. So after we turned 18, we would me, my twin sister, Brandy, and Wyatt and Mark were with the foster mom Ann, and then they had Sean with Mickey, the foster mom's sister Mickey, and then the foster sister Joni is the foster mom Ann's biological cousin's daughter, and Joni's biological brother James was taken care of by the foster grandma Mildred Collins, but Dana didn't have foster kids. But Dana didn't have foster kids. But I heard that she was a social worker or something. But she wasn't never on our case. But Dana hated us. Mickey hated us. All three of them hated us. But I don't know how the brother JB that lives in San Antonio, I don't know how he feels about us. I mean, he didn't even, after the foster grandma Mildred Collins died, even it was before that, JB hadn't, he was in the military, and he's been an ROTC instructor. I think he's still alive. Dana was the only one that died. And that was shocked. Dana? She passed away in 2017. So, and the foster mom didn't even tell me. She didn't even invite me to Dana's funeral or nothing. But it's what else was I gonna say? So yeah, JB and the foster mom and all them, it's he didn't contact them for years. But I remember being super little, very little, and the foster mom took us to San Antonio. I don't remember too much, but I remember she took us to Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, with the fake cult Bible class conventions. And one time we were super little, and I don't have a whole lot of memory, but I remember a little bit. When the foster mom took us to Texas when it was back in the 80s, I was a little kid, and she took us to Texas to see her brother, JB, and we spent a lot of time with JB's daughter, which was the foster cousin Monique. She didn't even contact them either. But she was some kind of way close with the foster cousin Mildred, who everybody calls Stuck Up. And Mildred was a narcissist, extremely like snooty, snotty, like the snottiest. Her and my niece, Hellface Ugly Monica, they're like the snootiest, snottiest, narcissistic abusers I've ever seen. And Monica's try to talk like she's the complexion of white people, but try to talk and act like a gangster hood version of the foster cousin Mildred. And Monica seemed like she, fraudulently and illegally get all these accomplishments without even trying, all because of favoritism and skin color, just like Mildred, because Mildred is glorified as fucking pretty. Criminally, illegally, and undeservingly glorified as the pretty type. But your attitude ain't pretty, But that's how it is in New Orleans. But back to when I went by Pete's house 7 years ago. Pete saw me off first sight and treated me like I deserved to be punished. And like he had some just a whole bunch of anger, vicious hate anger, and treated me like I deserved to be punished and in detention. And I didn't even realize he had been drinking. I didn't know he was an alcoholic. Or maybe I did, or maybe I heard, I don't know. I knew he was a criminal, but I didn't know he was an alcoholic. And so, and Pete being in prison for so long, Pete has some effeminate, swishy mannerisms, like occasionally also. And I'm like, I thought you were a hood thug. But yeah, like people try to make like the whole family is supposed to be scared of Pete. Because all the horrible things Pete does, despite being the darkest complected one in the family, everybody respects Pete because of fear. People being scared of Pete. I'm pretty much scared of all my brothers. I'm a female, and I'm scared of my twin sister and Ramona and them too, I'm scared of everybody. I'm scared of people. But I don't know why Pete saw me off first sight. Like once I came and got in the truck when he picked me up at the Greyhound station, he acted like he was extremely mad at me. And then he tried to manipulate and use me for payday loans. And then when the payday loans weren't successful, he would get mad and start verbally abusing me. He would get drunk and put his hands on Willie Mae, physically abuse and beat on Willie Mae. And Willie Mae said that a lot of the time and he manipulated her against me because she was a very nice person and quiet, don't bother nobody, And then he manipulated for Willie Mae to not like me. And so Pete would make false promises to let me drive or for me to use the car. And it seemed like and Pete ain't just a narcissistic abuser. I don't know if he's a sociopath or a straight up psychopath. And he told me that he'd been with plenty of women. Yeah, Arthur Percy Grand Prix, who they want to call Pete. He talking about he'd been with plenty of women. He bragged to me about all the people he claimed he killed. He told me he killed a lot of people. Like, well, why you brag? And he said it like, and he didn't say it like as if he had any remorse. And he part of the fake Jehovah's Witness cult trying to be a worldly thug. And then trying to lecture me about the Bible. And trying to be like, yeah, Jesus drank wine. And you use that to justify being an alcoholic and doing people fucked up. So, Yeah, I didn't understand it and still will never understand, you know, if family members like my niece Monica, the biological brother Pete, the biological brother Derek, my cousin Rebecca, and certain other family members, drunk lady Yvonne, my aunt Yvonne, you know, they act like as if they know me like a book and they avoid me like the plague and they hate my guts based on the rumors they heard about me, the false rumors and the smear campaigns they heard about me. Even my cousin Blake, you know, before he got shot and killed, you know, when I first met Blake, because we were born before Blake, and I doubt if we were around when Blake was a baby. But Blake used to love me when we first Blake used to love me when we first came back around, you know. And even in 2003, 2004, he used to love me. Wait, was it 2003, 2004? Yeah, he somewhere around there. He used to love me. Then he did 8 months in jail or prison and lost all that weight. And the moment he got out of jail, Rebecca put stuff in his head and had him start to act like a perp. And she was 14 and he was, I don't remember. But he probably was 20 or something. 20, I think he was 20 or 21. But he got out of jail. And then he lost so much weight. And you think the family used to control Blake? Nope. So, you know, ever since after Blake got out of jail, he started to act like an abusive, narcissistic perp that would avoid me like the plague and want nothing to do with me. Family members who ain't seen me in years. Ain't seen me in 10 years. And then if I'm like, hey, Blake, how you doing? And here's how he hugged me, like. Or they treat you like they see you every day. I'm like, but then when they see other people, like, shit, man, oh, it's been so long. Yeah. So they be with people they went to school with, but I'm your flesh and blood and never really did you anything. But, you know, lies, bogus lies you heard about me, you know. Even my own nephew sitting there making sexual remarks about my booty and stuff. Like, I can't be around y'all. And my family won't do shit for me. They won't do anything for me at all. And I'm content with that because I don't want them to feel like, oh, because they gave me something, then they're entitled to abuse me more. But they took what I had, they took from me. They took. Now ain't my family, like family members who ain't never did a fucking thing for you. They ignore you for holidays and birthdays. Don't call you up to see how you're doing or nothing unless they trying to hound you down for money. Like I was it was like right before I went by Pete. Ramona hadn't contacted me in a while, and she beat me up in 2015, and then several months later, she calling me up. I'm homeless on the street, and she fucking trying to hound me down for money. Motherfucker, you ought to be asking you for money. And it was our birthday, 2019, me and my twin sister, Brandy, you know, and we had a feud the day before, or 2 days before. No, it was the day before. She picked an argument with me on purpose for an excuse to not talk to me for our birthday. And she does this every year. So I guess I won't be hearing from her even this year for our birthday. And the online perps helped her. And, you know, they got in her head to keep us feuding. You know, trying to falsely make it like as if I was ungrateful for the $40 that she donated. You know, just because I said that I wasn't sure if this was serious. You know, because if she had been perping me, treating me mean and abusing me all that time, and like if she donate me $40, because my twin sister, she don't really give me shit. She don't really do much of nothing for me. But they helped manipulate her to lie and say that I was ungrateful for the $40 for our birthday last year, and I was struggling on the streets. And that partially, helped me towards being able to get a hotel room for that night. And that was the day I lost my phone. So, my twin sister ain't never really did shit for me all these years. So, for me to question the authenticity, they made a big feud, and and the perps helped her make big trouble. I'm like, y'all some sick motherfuckers to encourage a set of twins to stay divided. But they would have fake TI perps who would talk about, oh, well, I hope y'all two can reconcile. And then next thing you know, they start perping me and then taking sides with her. I'm never right, or I can never get to have a voice. I'm always got to be in a position of wrong. Because April 2021, she said, you see that, she was telling everybody, don't donate to me. And they had tornadoes and hail, and I almost died in the tornado weather. And she said, well, you see that GoFundMe that you got up there, you might want to leave it up there for your burial. That comes out of fake foster mom's textbook. How the foster mom would talk. Exactly like something like that, what she would be likely to say. But, my twin sister doesn't treat me like a twin or a family. And none of my family members treat me like family. Never did. Since day one. And it's just odd. And they all have a reprobate mind. It's like they're mentally off, slow, and retarded and don't know no better. So, excuse me. So, Daryl Jr., who they call Do, he was one of the last grown adult family members to still love and respect me. They even turned him against me. They even had him starting to act like a perp. And if Ramona will say that Do is quiet and don't bother nobody, but she'll be like, oh, well, Do, he's slow. And I heard they would take advantage of Do's money. So that's Blake's brother, Blake and Rebecca's brother, Do. That's the oldest one, Daryl Jr. So they got Do to start acting like a perp. Like David Jane, like I would have never known Do to do something like that. So and for Do to be considered mentally handicapped, slow, whatever you want to call it, disabled, retarded, whatever. It's not hard to get a mental retard, to go along with perping. And I don't think that dude was motivated to do it. I think that he turned into a perp by just blind obedience. But you can't get me to turn into a perp, but y'all want to call me a mental retard. They had a girl like last night or the night before, about 24 hours ago, try to, she can't spell, but try to call me slow and retarded. And then I hate when narcissistic women would try to tell me, oh yeah, I looked on your profile and I looked at your videos and you're a few sandwiches short of a picnic. Or something like that they would say. So I mean, I have a bachelor's degree and get references, and the fake Darnell Williams perk recently called me retarded a few times, or calling me dumb or calling me whatever names. But I'm the only person that I know that's considered retarded, but have a bachelor's degree and graduated from high school with honors. But y'all still want to call me retarded and slow. But I'm disabled. And the perps lie and say that I'm not disabled. So, they don't know me. So Daryl Jr. was the last one standing. And they got him to become a perp. And so, I guess they must have got him to make that. No, it was before his dad died. My uncle by marriage. So, yeah, but it was after Blake died when they got due to start. I mean, they got due to start acting like a perp. And when you have gang stalking family members, I guess their thing is to treat you like you're not like as if you're clearly not related to them. And then they try to replace you with strangers. Like at family events, they be trying to look for a replacement for Candy to go to Hellface Ugly Monica's daughter Malia's birthday party, and they'll look for a replacement for Candy. Or at a family member's funeral, or they want to look for a replacement for Candy. Now, usually be one of my twin sisters' lovers, lesbian lovers, or friends that she would desire to be with in that manner. So Ramona's mentally off, slow, and retarded enough that she picked an argument with me and a fight with me. And for 2004 21st birthday, she secretly threw a party for my twin sister, and I wasn't invited. And she replaced it with Rayenda. And was just my twin sister's, friend we knew since elementary school. And so then, years later, Ramona tried to give me pictures from that event. Like, motherfucker, if I wasn't invited, don't give me no damn pictures of that shit. Why? Why would you give me pictures of that? Don't give me those pictures. If something, because you a perp that you want to re-traumatize me all over again, or try to remind me of why I deserve to be punished. And then right before Hurricane Katrina, it was on my birthday, and Ramona was mad at me. Like, the whole family was mad at me right before and during and after Hurricane Katrina. And Ramona, I had my car, and Ramona demanded that I give her a ride somewhere, and then was mad at me and not want to talk to me. And then bullying me and hounding me down for money and a free ride to go take her somewhere in my car. But the family members, they wouldn't let me drive their car, or they wouldn't let me, or they wouldn't take me anywhere. And they would take gas money, have their hand out for gas money, and still not take me. And then lie and say that they took me for free. That's the dirty games, gaslighting, manipulative games that they play. So, for our birthday, 2019, I was homeless on the streets. And Wyatt called me up, trying to slick talk and trying to get money out, manipulate and trying to get money out of me. And that was the last time I heard from him until April of last year. And we talked from like April 6th to April 20th. And I think it was on the biological sister Belinda's birthday, or a couple of days before, was when the ex-boyfriend Alex tried to coming back into my life and try to contact me. So, as I said, Alex was talking to me, in a way that's very disrespectful, abusive, and narcissistic, and like as if he has zero respect and objectifying women and wanting to talk dirty and make me feel uncomfortable. So, and Alex, at first, he tried to butter me up and try to talk about you have an amazing heart. And, and then he tried to tell me off, bully, harass, and lecture me and try to tell me off about myself. And one time, my twin sister was lying on me, saying that I'm a pedophile and that the ex-boyfriend Alex was 14. He had proof of a college student ID at John Jay College or Community College of Criminal Justice or something like that in New York City. And I saw that license. So Alex was only 4 years younger than me. He was 19 and my twin sister lied and said that I was a pedo and that Alex was 14. And my twin sister and a biological brother, Wyatt, they even manipulated and turned Alex against me. And also the women at the homeless shelter in New York, they also put stuff in Alex's head and manipulated him against me. But, Alex would wait and only contact me once every 2 weeks when he was horny. And then he would, but Alex, I didn't realize he was a narcissist, an abusive narcissistic perp. And then his mom was just vicious and cruel. The woman was meaner than a fake foster mom. I only met the bitch one time. She was shorter than a fake foster mom. And I'm glad I never married Alex. So Alex cheating on me was one of the reasons why I, attempted suicide. Part of the reason, one of the few reasons why I attempted suicide in 2007. Now in 2006, when I went to the mental hospital, he loved me enough to come and visit me and support me and be there for me and all that. But yeah, Alex, he did not respect women. And it's strange that David Jane looked and talked like Alex, but David Jane had like black and white hair, and David Jane's skin color was much darker. But David was, I think, shorter than me, and Alex was a little bit taller. But Alex Mendez and David Jane, they look and talk just alike. I even got rid of the pictures that me and Alex took. And then my twin sister said that the ex-boyfriend Alex looked like an obese Down syndrome version of Chris Brown. So, so it's like, yeah, I mean, I never really had anybody to like value or cherish me. Even the woman who gave birth to me, Frances Grand Prix. I don't know what her middle name, or if she had a middle name before getting married, but her maiden name was Harvey. So, the biological dad, Arthur, we didn't really, Arthur Justine Grand Prix, I didn't even know until he died that was his middle name, Justine. Because the birth certificate says Arthur Pete Grand Prix. And they got that wrong. So Pete, they said, is the brother of the Percy Grand Prix's nickname, Pete. But Pete is named after a man that's not his biological dad. So I didn't know that when Arthur, the biological dad Arthur, when he died, his name was Arthur Justine Grand Prix. So when you filling out certain forms and they want to say, what is your dad's middle name? I put Pete because that was what was on the birth certificate, and that was all I knew. So that was a mistake on the birth certificate, or something wrong on the birth certificate. But we were born August 25th, 1983. That was what the birth certificate says on both of ours. And also it says Arthur Pete Grand Prix on both me and my twin sister's birth certificate. But everything is pretty much identical and the exact same, except the time that we were born. I was born at 10:23 and she was born at 10:36. And we're supposed to do everything together and be close and agree on the same thing with everything like other twins do. But the foster care fucked that up. But yeah, even other family members, they argue, fuss, and fight. Like the biological sister Ramona and drunk lady Aunt Yvonne, they would argue and fuss and cuss each other out, and then they back friends the next day or 5 minutes later like nothing happened. But all because I told Ramona, you're evil and satanic. We haven't been on speaking terms since 2018. And Ramona is toxic and dangerous enough that I'm going to stay no contact with her for as long as I live, because she's the type of person who's stubborn and ain't willing to repent. And ain't willing to show no love. Ramona has no love, no empathy, no sympathy, just a walking empty shell. Ramona is basically doesn't really have any emotions. She's dead. This is the sick, weird woman who, and I said it before, at Belinda's funeral, I wasn't there, but Wyatt told me that, not at the funeral, I think it was the day before when they were making the body up. And it was creepy. Wyatt told me that Ramona wanted to, why would you do it to your own sister, though? Wanted to pull up Belinda's dress to see if she had any panties on. Why the hell? Come on, man. You're weird. And then Ramona worships death. And the biological nephew, Raymond, exposed Ramona. He exposed Ramona and told her off and said that when they were arguing, and she acted like she didn't care, but he told her off about herself and said that you like to run to strangers' funerals just so you can come back home and laugh at how they looked in the casket. And Ramona, if they want to say that Arthur ain't my daddy because I'm not light-skinned like him, and Wyatt and all them, they on that Arthur's fake-ass Arthur's not your daddy bullshit. But if you see my Aunt Carolyn, I resemble her. Arthur's sister, I resemble her somewhat. A little bit. You can see some resemblance. So she couldn't even give me any validation. When I asked her, if it's true, is it true that Arthur's not our daddy or whatever? She's like, well, whose last name you carry? I'm like, well, Arthur's like, well, that's your daddy. I'm like, no, come on, that ain't no validation. So if they want to say Arthur's not your daddy, but Wyatt said that the biological mom, Frances, and Arthur did it in front of his face when he was 3 years old and laying in the bed with him while they did it in his front of his face. And then later on, she went to Milwaukee being mad at Arthur. So they want to talk about some Arthur ain't your daddy because you're not light-skinned like him. Well, Wyatt, and he was the first one who told me that during our teenage years. Well, if you say that you were 3 years old and they were doing it in front of your face. And my twin sister, Brandy, and her husband, Dwayne, they used to do it in front of Raven's face. Ain't that child abuse? Oh, but y'all want to talk about me with stuff y'all falsely accused me of that I never did or said. So, Wyatt was 3 going on 4 when we were born. Yeah, time adds up, right, Wyatt? So we were born August 25th, and they probably, and I didn't realize, Christmas Eve or December 24th was the biological parents' wedding anniversary. I didn't realize until they died that the wedding, that they got married December 24th, 1968. I didn't know that until after they died. So, they might still have some things about my birth parents that some facts or information that I don't know about them or that I never knew. And they feel like I don't have a right, the family feel like I don't have a right to know these things. So if Ramona and Mark and Wyatt try to say, well, Arthur ain't your daddy. Well, Ramona, why you always showing me pictures of Arthur's family members, pictures and videos, and you always wanting to send me over to their house? But that's part of that fake colorism bullshit. As I said, look at my hair. My hair ain't that coarse. Look at that. So, Ramona, as I said, Ramona, she worships death. And Blake told me that Ramona is a very evil witch. A lot of family members are rumored to do voodoo. We're from New Orleans, but I can't tell you not one voodoo ritual, and I don't even know voodoo. But I stay away from it. Like Zach's potato chips, I might have to stay away from that whole company because they not only glorify voodoo, but I tasted the chips that they said was flavored voodoo back then, because the fake IDMR cult, they try to make it like as if witchcraft and voodoo was not real. Well, guess what? They lied and they had us under a spell. So, it is now Friday, June 23rd, 2023 at 12:50 a.m. in the morning. Let me see something. Hold up. Okay. So, yeah, because, people will look down on you like you're so disrespectful while your gang stalking and family members are slandering you at funerals, weddings, birthdays, family gatherings, snickering and gossiping behind your back to other family members and friends of the family and extended family. But then when you go on social media and air out your gang stalking family members' dirty laundry, then that gets frowned upon. that gets frowned upon by people who claim that they're targeted and being gang stalked. Or, if you put up pictures of family members and be like, well, this family member is abusive, this family member did this to me, he did that to me. And they got some professed targets, very few, that have no shame in outing their family members. But when I do it, it's supposed to be like some unspoken rule or unspoken taboo. Like, why should I be loyal to family members who don't have any loyalty towards me? If my twin sister smeared me to strangers and, rather team up with online strangers to join in on gang stalking and bullying the fuck out of me. And she doesn't, she can go to sleep every night. They don't, if I would have gotten murdered by the gang stalkers when I was in Pensacola? They had a perp that was driving by on Palafox Street and stealthily, I don't remember what day it was, but it was last year, and the perp stealthily pulled a gun out on me. And somebody on one of my videos said that they saw a gun. Somebody commented under one of the comments on that video saying that they saw a gun. That they saw a gun. Like that they saw that a perp aimed a gun at me. And I never in my life before had a gun aimed at me. Or I never had a gun pulled out on me, never had a gun aimed at me. So they were about to assassinate me right then and there. I've had perps, intentionally trying to run over me with their cars. And it's traumatizing and frightening. And all y'all can say is just ignore all this. They had some targets who actually got hit by cars. But since being here in Bloomington, I have not had that experience. Wait, I think once or twice I did since being here. Deal with perps trying to hit me or run over me with their cars. But it's a traumatic, scary experience to go through almost every day. When I had to be homeless on the streets in either Pensacola or New Orleans or bigger cities. And when I would walk down Woodruff Road, I didn't realize it was gang stalking, or walking down Rutherford Street in Greenville, South Carolina, being in Riverside, California, when I would go to Riverside, I didn't live in Riverside, California, but I visited there a couple of times. And also the Koreans in Koreatown, part of Los Angeles, they would do that to me. But perps trying to run me over with their cars, or they would do stuff like use the sidewalk for a parking lot and block me on purpose. Excuse me, and I didn't realize that was part of the gang stalking too. That I have to go around your car because you're blocking the sidewalk with your car, like as if it's a parking lot. And then I'm gotta risk my life with a whole bunch of oncoming cars, and nearly get hit by a car because you're blocking the sidewalk and treating it like a parking lot. So so it's like, yeah. So the content that I talked about in this video, I don't know if I should I don't know if I should put this in the adult only section, because of what I talked about. I don't know. I'm not sure. But 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 yeah, it's like it seems like my foster and biological family members, they see me as a meal ticket or cash cow, or a money tree, and they see me as an object and not a human to be loved or cherished. My twin sister, how can she speak on Candy's not loyal if she never been loyal to me since birth? Never, ever, ever a day in her life been loyal to me. We were 18 years old. She wouldn't even buy me a McGriddle, telling me I had to go and get it myself. And all the lavish money she spends on the women who she sexually desired, that she tried to sexually get at. And then when I was by her in 2017 and I paid for my own food, and she tried to offer me to have some burgers. I think once or twice I had something to eat from what she cooked, but the majority of the time I try to remain independent and wanted my, my own, to have my own food. And then she threw that in my face. You up in my house eating my food. But we're identical twins, and you're trying to handle me like a stranger. But then China is your lover, no relation at all, and it's okay for her to eat off you for years. And you provide for China, and you treat China better than you treated your own 3 kids. Raven is old enough, and I think Ivan too, that they are Ivan's still 17 or something. Ivan is 17, but Raven is of age. Raven is like 19 now. So if Raven is considered disabled with special needs, I don't know if they're keeping her in extended foster care, or I don't know much of anything. But as I said, if my twin sister tried to make it like I did this and that to Raven, why did she send for me to come and see her in 2006, 2007, and 2010? If I'm really guilty of doing X, Y, Z to your kids. But after I left in 2010, she showed me a picture of McKeithen having blood on the side of his face. And he looked extremely sad. And my twin sister tried to cover it up and lie and say that he fell off the bed. And then later on, she admitted that she slapped the shit out of him. Like, she was abusing her kids. Like, and doing who knows what to the kids, and then blaming it on everybody else. She was even punishing Raven, a special needs child, and trying to force Raven to wash dishes at 3 years old. We didn't start washing dishes till like 6 or 7. And we used to want to wash dishes. We used to like to wash dishes. And we used to, kids like to try to do stuff that grown folks do, So the foster mom weaponized that and started using allowance and chores and punishment, and start to get manipulative and abusive and try to manipulate us to think that 50 cents was a lot of money. If you clean the whole bathroom at 8 years old and the compensation that you get for allowance is 50 cents. Like, come on. But if they have adults that have a cleaning job, their compensation might be $20 an hour or something. Or maybe $100 a house. So the foster mom used to make it like as if our cleaning or this or that wasn't good enough on purpose, just so that she can justify not giving us allowance. And this is why, one of the other reasons why I have freaking OCD nowadays. So my storage space is accumulating. And I talk about you know, fostering biological family abuse, all the time. So if you're new to this channel and you're offended, then I've been doing this. I'm just letting you know I've been talking, about the gang stalking and the family abuse for the past few years. So, dang, I feel like I kind of triggered myself talking about some of this stuff, But if people can talk about it on their abuse on TikTok, I should have a right to talk about what I went through. If y'all want to say shut up and forget about the past, but these same people who avoid me because of rumors that they heard about me in the past. How can my twin sister tell people that Candy is not loyal when you never been loyal to me? All I'm good for is to be used. Or if they find out I came into some money or I got some money, they want to confiscate it like I deserve to be punished. Or if I get a car or something good, or a BlackBerry phone, they want to make like you're not supposed to have that. But it's okay for y'all to be free to live your life the way you want. My twin sister got more freedom than me. She used to be persecuted, controlled, and abused, but now it seems like they let her be grown and have her freedom. She can have a place to live and a car. She can have a car and no job, and food and no job. I caught her putting up a fundraiser on Facebook in 2020 or in 2019 or something. And I'm like, you get all this money from the military and you have a place to live in a car and you don't work. And then you're telling people not to help me. But when she begs for sympathy, when she had a roof over her head, she would beg for sympathy during hail and tornadoes or whatever. But I was on the streets and she would tell everybody, don't help her. And so they got this family, this mother and daughter on TikTok, where the woman tried to say that the daughter is bipolar and scamming for attention and money and stuff. And it's like, and some people ask the mom, why aren't you helping the daughter? But the majority of the time, they go along with the mom's manipulation and abuse to try to say, don't help my daughter. Like, what kind of fuck mom are you? But family ain't family these days. Now your family be your worst enemy. And so I don't even know if me being single all these years, if God was protecting me from domestic violence. If God, I don't know if it's the case, if God had been protecting me from domestic violence, or, but as I said, I wish I could have got to be a good wife and mother. And out of ignorance, I would have made some mistakes in the past. But, I wish I could be I wish I could be a man's helpmeet, But I don't want somebody that's controlling and narcissistic, abusive, and mean, and treat me like I lack common sense or like I'm a burden or the most disgusting person that ever walked the face of this earth. So, well, what time is it? 1:05 a.m. in the morning. So thanks for listening to me. I love y'all, and I'm sitting here feeling like, so since I would have to wait all the way until next week, I guess I'll have to go to Family Dollar or Dollar General in order to get some food, But before I go though, they had somebody on YouTube that told me that a lady she didn't tell me, I meant to say she did a video. And the lady did a video and and she said something about how in North Carolina at Food Lion that certain stores were accepting cash only. And then they be having people who shun you for getting food stamps or depending on the government or making like you get what you deserve or you deserve to be punished for depending on the government. But me being targeted, I got no choice because I would rather, God knows my heart, I would rather be independent and I would rather work. But, you know, so I just got food stamps after so many years. And then this person tried to make it like as if, you know, if the food people on food stamps get what they deserve for depending on as punishment for depending on the government or whatever. But so wait a minute, I thought that they would have this coin shortage, excuse me, and that that they would have the economic collapse and cashless society. So if they would have coin shortage and economic collapse and cashless society, I thought that, like in 2012, they used to say, well, you might be a terrorist if, or you put on a government watch list if you're spending cash, and they would prefer for you to use a debit card. So now that why they want everybody to use cash all of a sudden, and they're saying that the systems are down. Like they got so much going on. They got the heat wave here. They got the storms in Oklahoma and wherever else, and they had so many kids in Ohio missing. They had all the influx of migrants or immigrants or whatever. And then I just heard about this Ocean Gate and this Titanic. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to the Titanic that sunk years ago? But this new Titanic kind of thing. And now I'm hearing about but that's the only one I heard say that you got to be expected to use cash or something. But yeah, I heard about the economic collapse and cashless society. So like that, the government, I guess, manipulating and playing games, and people would be saying, you know, take your money out of the banks, and you know, stuff like that, and get prepared. But I don't have enough money, or I don't have the transportation to get to places to buy, you know, to try to stock up and prepare and be a prepper. And I have a small amount of space in this cabin, and me being targeted. I mean, as I said, I used to try to do prepping and stocking up, you know, when I was living in Los Angeles, Greenville, South Carolina, and when I was living back in New Orleans. And I would have to get rid of everything and then end up back homeless on the streets again due to the targeting. But I probably would have been stocking up and doing prepper stuff in Pensacola if I had a roof over my head, you know. But I even try to stock up and prepare and do some prepping stuff when I was staying in a motel. And when I got my tax refund check, I try to do some prepping. But then the situation with Trisha happened, and then I ended up back on the streets homeless again, and had to leave her house like as if the house was burning down because she put me in so much danger. You know, Trisha sitting there setting people up to get killed and stuff, or insinuating about death, and she's a witch pretending to be Christian. A satanic witch perp trying to pretend to be Christian. As I said, I never heard of a Christian that burns black incense. Or I mean, that sounds like witchcraft. And then you Haitian, that don't help your case at all. But then y'all want to talk about me. I'm from New Orleans, but I don't even know anything about voodoo or witchcraft or nothing. I'm not going to say I don't know anything, but I don't know that much. I know as much about witchcraft as much as I know about quantum physics, and that's nothing. So I'm going to go for now. Thanks for listening to me. My phone later on, a couple hours ago was acting funny. So thanks for listening to me, and I'll see y'all later.